I feel like my screen is dirty. I can wipe it off. I got all these clothes to wipe it off with. Let me figure out. It might be a lighting thing too. That looks a little better. Oh, my boobies is all out there. Let's put the girls away. It's not that kind of party. Okay, I'm figuring out some lighting stuff. I think that's good lighting. That's good. So, how's everyone doing? Hello. So I'm hungry, so I'm gonna be eating during this live. Y'all know how I do. I will be eating when I need to eat. But I wanted to say hi to everyone. Oya Gold here, also known as Stacy, affectionately known as Stacy. I want to talk to y'all because I had been figuring out how to make this video for a while now. Like I was like, how do I talk about this? You know, how do I bring up how do I talk about not being on Instagram? How do I talk about gold energy management? Look, I'm fidgeting because it's like, oh, you know, this is like, oh, I'm trying to cover up all the spot, the heart, sacral chakra, like solar plexus area, all of it. Just like, oh, because this is vulnerability. This is being vulnerable. And I'm just kind of like, I'm still a little bit like, I don't know how to talk about it. So I got some juice, a little bit of juice, and I'm eating over here. You guys probably can't see it, but it's some leftover takeout food. Not really takeout. I went out to eat, and we had some leftovers, and I don't even remember the name of the spot, but the food was so good. I'm not really a fan of places that have like everything. You know what I mean? They have burgers, they got fries, they got tacos, they got slushies, they got everything. A little bit American, a little bit of Latin, whatever. And I don't like spots like that because what happens is everything be frozen and there's no quality. So at first I was like, okay, they have a little bit of everything. But the food turned out to be really delicious. And I got some now that I'm eating. I also have some delicious bacon jam. I love bacon jam. Like, I want to learn how to make bacon jam. Hey! Someone is here! Oh my god! You're officially my first person ever on my live in your comment. And thank you so much for being here. Please put your name if I know you on social media, because I don't know what name that is. I might know you, I might not. You might have just stumbled upon it. Thank you for being here. I'm Oya Gold of Gold Energy Management, where we don't just help you find your purpose, we help you to be it. Right, so, but that's what we're talking about. I started my business, and I started about 2 years before. Aw, that just makes me so happy. Thank you for your subscription. It does matter. Especially now that YouTube has it where you don't have to have 1,000 or 500 followers to go live. Like, I could use the feature. So yeah, I had my private practice. I want to say I started about 2016, 17. And it was doing pretty good. And then I was picking up some speed. And then COVID hit. But my business thrived during COVID. So coming out of like, I want to say 2021, I started slowing down on Instagram. I wasn't posting as much. I was in the middle of moving, to get into like RV living. So I did 6 months in Florida, off the grid, RV living. I love it. It was great with my 2 daughters, and we were in Fort McCoy, Florida. And I wanted to do all this content, all this stuff, but it didn't have a real good signal out there, to be honest. So a lot of my postings like tapered off, and I just wasn't posting on Instagram. And I had some clients that were still sticking with me, and people who were talking to me outside of social media, through email or even through Messenger, or even the DMs on Instagram. So I was still in touch with my core base and people who had, you know, used my services, gotten some rose water. We were still communicating, but I wasn't posting on the page. I had archived a lot of things, cleaned it up, left it like, you know. And then I got an idea. I get a lot of ideas. And I was like, I'm not going to do this no more. Because I felt like, what I honestly felt like was, this was a fried pickle. Now it's just a soggy fried pickle, but still holds the value, the taste value. I never knew fried pickles could be so delicious, but they are. Um, so I wasn't posting. I wasn't doing anything on the page. And I just didn't know how to like, and I was getting all these ideas. I was learning so much about myself. And I was just like, I don't want to do, I don't want to coach anymore. I don't want to be a mentor anymore. I don't want to help people find bright ideas. I don't want to do this anymore. Because it's enough spiritual people in the community. They got it. They got your astrologies, your cardiologists, your tarot ladies. You got it. Nobody don't need go energy management, and that was my thinking. No one needs what I'm offering. No one is, even though people were still booking me off of social media. Outside of that, but that was my thinking. And I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do children's parties. I'm gonna do this. So I turned Gold Energy Management into gem parties, and I was like, I'm gonna dress up and go to the kids' parties. I'm gonna dip in my actor's bag, and I'm gonna do this whole thing, and it's gonna be great. And it's gonna be wonderful, and I'm gonna love it. And I'm gonna take over the industry. And I'm just gonna be the best character entertainer. Like I was gone. That was the plan. That's what I was gonna do. And then I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing. I still had Edify Me the rose water, pushing that very slowly. A lot of things that happened affected how I was doing that. New supplier of rose, new rose water supplier. Like I had to shift it up a little bit. So good. And I want to put some of this bacon jam on this fried pickle though. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some of the bacon jam on the fried pickle. And I say that's blessing. No, so okay, all right. Focus. That is so good. It is incredible. So life is incredible. That's the whole point. Like, so I'm in this flux of ideas. I'm gonna have gym parties instead. I'm gonna do this. I ain't do nothing. And in the meantime, I've been staying on my therapy. I've been staying on my mentorship. Ooh, jalapeno jam is so good. I love jalapeno jam on like a cheddar cheese sandwich with like a hard, crusty bread. So good. I'm gonna have to go get some jalapeno jam now. Thanks. Jalapeno jam is the bomb. I love chutneys, jams, pickles, things that are fermented and savory and salty and spicy. I can do sweet if it has all those elements with it, but I'm not so much of a sweet person. Like, as you can see, my smoked chicken wings, I doused it in blue cheese dressing and hot sauce. And these sweet potato fries are, like, some people do sweet potato fries and waffle fries and they be soggy. These were crispy and so delicious. And I'm dipping it in this sauce I had to bring home. It's called a white Alabama sauce. Like, it was a barbecue spot, so they had all these barbecue sauces, and one of them was a white, I think it was a white Alabama heat. So it has a little kick. It's very vinegary. But one of the young ladies, shout out to Chocolate Becca Cherry. She said she's had it before where it's supposed to be a little thicker. This one was like a little thinny. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like runny a little bit. I added a little bit of veganese to stretch it out just a little bit. And it's delicious. It's good. So I would be really interested in having a more authentic version of this sauce because it is really good as a white sauce. I really don't. Most white sauces have like a mayonnaise base, and I don't like mayonnaise like that. Unless you can make it not taste like mayonnaise. So I segue. But so I'm not doing anything, but I'm still doing self-development. I'm still working on myself. I'm still taking accountability. I'm still being responsible for, there's this commercial that used to come on about the hair loss for men, and he's like, I'm not only the president, but I'm a client. Gold Energy Management our hashtag is manage your energy. I was still managing my energy. I was still being accountable to myself and healing, and even more so, what I picked up from another homegirl I was talking to, who's also a life coach, and we were talking about healing versus integration. Right? Healing versus integration. So when we say we're healing, like, it implies that something is broken. But if you're saying integration, you're saying that I wanna be more of myself. Because I believe we're all divinely perfect. We all got everything in us to be whatever it is we would desire to be. Hence why we would even have the desire. And you just got to align yourself with more of that desire to attract, if you will, the tools, the people, the situations, the opportunities that go along with that specific alignment that you are aligning yourself with, if that wasn't too confusing. So yeah, integrating more of how I see myself, how I actually see myself, showing up for myself. And I've been doing a lot of practicing with showing up for myself. And so I took this journey. I was that entertainer in my mind. I talked to my friends about it. I was on Etsy. I was window shopping the wigs and da da da. I'm also a burlesque dancer, so for me it was like, yeah, performance arts, I can do this. You know, this is great. Nothing happened though. And I didn't beat myself up about it. When I talked to my business coach, it was on the roster of things we were gonna go at. But by the time we had that I guess you could say audit meeting, we had made no progress, no movement, so we cut it. And I was relieved. That was the crazy thing. I was so fucking relieved that we cut it. And I didn't have to show up and do that because it was a great idea. I had a great feeling for it. I think I'll do it on a volunteer basis. I love performance. I'm a performance artist. I do burlesque, I act, I write, I paint live. You know, like I'm an artist. I am. I'm an artist at heart. And but I also am a mentor. I'm also a teacher. I'm a mother. My oldest is 22, my youngest is 15, two daughters. And you know, I love to nurture and help people, especially in the space of like professional talent and other people. And a lot of my clients were other performers who wanted to know how to get their ideas off, wanted to know how to better manage their social media. All these resources I had, all these other coaches and mentors and teachers and spiritual leaders that I had access to that I could offer also as a resource, meaning it's not just about me. I'm connected to so many people. Why not have a bigger connection and everyone get what they need? You know what I'm saying? That's how I think about it. And that's how I live. And so what was happening though in the background was I was getting an influx of people hitting me up about, you know, management services, goal energy management, questions about, you know, things they had going on, emotional stuff, my little Woody Woodpecker style is just. So I was doing the work and I had just started to remobilize Edify Me and take a more serious approach because it consistently brings in revenue. It consistently is sought after. So we were definitely putting that in the priority, me and my business coach, to follow through with that. You get what I'm saying? So I'm focused. I got mentorship. I got therapies. I got coaching, business coaching. I'm on it. And I just felt good, but then I was still in trepidation. How do I come back to Instagram? I'm not really coming back, but like, how do I do that marketing wise? I didn't want it to be markety. I didn't want to be like, coming soon, coming. But maybe I did. I was scared. And I was also scared of people thinking and saying things like, oh, what she did wasn't real. That's why when you fake like that, when you're not a real spirit. She says she's psychic, but I don't think so. She says all these things. She makes all these claims, but I don't know. If you doing it so good, why you not doing it? Like, it was all this stuff that I was imagining these imaginary haters thinking and saying about me, but had no evidence of such said thing. Right. And when I really delved down into it, hence why we're in this challenge that I created, which is the hashtag shame free challenge. I'm doing it for 150 days. I'm showing up where I'm most ashamed at, where I feel most vulnerable at, and sharing some of this stuff, and possibly maybe inspiring others to look at what makes them have shame. Because I felt ashamed that I had left Instagram, and I felt ashamed that I actually took time for myself to heal and integrate new parts of myself. And I felt ashamed that I wasn't consistent with my goal energy management, even though I was. But I had shame. And in there, I knew that that was something I wanted to talk about for a long time, but didn't quite know how to broach the subject. And I was like, you know what? I think this is something, because that's something that we're all dealing with. Shame is something that in our society is huge. The Western society, Eastern, a lot of societies get people to move a certain way by imposing shame on them. Your parents get you to do stuff. Your friends, your loved ones, they shame you when you do things. It happens. We shame people. Oh, so you're just not gonna do that? I mean, because I showed up for you and you're not gonna, we do this. It's human nature. And I wanted to unpack it. I wanted to look at it because, exactly, it's something we all deal with. And I was like, so if it could make me, who I'm doing what I do, maybe not on Front Street on Instagram, but I'm still doing this great work. I'm still doing this work within myself. I'm still showing up for myself and others that I can hold space for and hold space with. I'm still raising my children. I'm still happy as all get out. I'm still having adventures, and I'm still in the search, for the perfect woman, and I'm still poly as all get out with my two mans and all. Like, I'm still me. I'm still me. You know what I'm saying? But how do I show up as me when I felt like I hadn't been doing that, which was a total illusion? I had to deal with the shame. And I do know, like I put in the hashtag post, and if you check me out on all social medias, Oya Gold or Oya S Gold, you'll find me. And you'll see that the hashtag for today was about the environment that shame needs to grow. The petri dish is how it put it, which is secrecy. Oh, Poly crew in the house. Hey, Poly Nation. I've been poly my whole life. We're going to talk. That's another video. We're going to talk about it. I actually have that on the schedule for this week to talk about being poly, how I knew I was poly. I've been poly my whole life. I never knew anything outside of poly, to be honest. But I, I tend to ramble. I can be very random. But I can keep up with me, but I just know sometimes with other people, it's like, you're there, you're here. What are we talking about? We're talking about shame, and we're talking about how I was afraid to be on the Instagram, even though I had been on there, been doing my thing, I'm reputable, credible, all that good shit, whatever. But I was afraid to come back, quote unquote. I didn't want to be marketed like, because I'm not in that space. I'm not a Miss Cleo. I'm not into what I do for sales, and, it's work, and I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy showing up. And my purpose is to show up fully as myself and help those who I can show up as themselves while being a full example of what it means to be yourself and just do it. So just to be, and be happy and satisfied and full of joy in your beingness and full of purpose in your beingness. And so, like, I'm just holding this fry. So good. Take a little break. They ain't giving me no checks. We ain't giving no shout outs. But it's some good ass lemonade. It can have all the sugars, everything. I don't think it has any corn syrup in it. I love that. Oh, it's got cane sugar in it. Okay, so realizing that shame needed secrecy, it needed judgments, and it was something else. It was secrecy, judgment. Oh my goodness. It was something else. But basically, it needed an environment. And I hadn't really told anyone that I was feeling all this trepidation to come back to Instagram. Only my business coach knew a little bit, but I hadn't really gone into it, All I knew was I was relieved I didn't have to do gym parties anymore. So I didn't tell anyone. And then I was judging, meaning also judgment. I was judging myself. I was definitely judging myself about taking time to live. Like, if my purpose, if God says my purpose is to live a life and have people witness that life so that they can witness what it is to be a believer, what it is to be faithful, what it is to be in love with life itself, then I have to, do those things. I have to do that. I have to live. And I can't be beholden to a social media platform in such a way where, because I'm not going to, I don't, when I go to events and stuff, I'm not the person to take pictures. I enjoy being present. Being present is a turn on for me. So I don't usually take pictures. And when I do, I'm in the mindset of this will be good to show. This is marketing. I'm in that bag. But if I'm not showing it, I'm present. I'm right there, you know? So some experiences I shared on Facebook. You guys are free to follow me on Facebook. That's where you can get to like see how I live more, like the behind the scenes to what you see on Instagram. And then of course, if you want to hear more in depth, you come over here to YouTube where I'm gonna tell all my business and we gonna talk about it. Um, so so yeah, with that type of like juiciness that I was ready to tackle shame, I was like, there it is. It's no, we're just gonna continue the conversation. Last time I was there, we were talking about trauma. We were talking about spiritual abuse. We talk about things that are so prevalent that we don't realize is affecting us in these great ways that bind us, that choke us down, that make us expressionless. You know, like we can't feel ourselves. We don't know. And I know what that's like. I grew up in a Muslim cult. I grew up without a lot of affection and touch. You know, I didn't grow up with someone saying, "Hey, I'm gonna have this child. I'm gonna have a plan for this child, and I'm gonna have bounty for this child, abundance." I was not. I think we call that the silver spoon. I was not. I was not planned for, nor was I prepared for, if that makes sense. You know, and I'm not unique in that. A lot of us share that storyline, and it does affect how you see yourself and how you figure things out. And there's a shame to that, even in the black community. Like, I ain't have no daddy. I didn't have a good mama. She was always working, or she was always tired, or she was young, or whatever it was. We have these things we deal with and we don't talk about because of shame. And if we don't talk about it, then we really can't heal it. We can't integrate more powerful, more loving, more truthful versions of how we actually see ourselves. You know? The nature of shame can be very like, it could break you down. And I lived through that. I just lived through that with not even posting on Instagram because I'm afraid, like, how do I? What do I? Oh my goodness, the people. While there's no evidence of any of that. So for me, shame cost me like a good 6 months of not even really actually putting good effort into what I was just like a possum, just stuck in this fear, this idea. When if I would have maybe said something to someone, I could have maybe got the validation I might have needed. I could have gotten the mentorship I might have needed. I could have gotten the nudge of the vote of confidence that I needed. The good thing about it is I'm here to tell you I went the hard way, the long way. And you can't really bug it up. You just have to continue to believe in yourself and trust that you're on the path you're supposed to be on. And I think that's, you know that by how you're being attentive to your desires, your wants, your needs. And I had a need and a want to help people, and it showed up by people responding by asking for help and saying, "Hey, I need your 5 minutes for, I got something I want to talk about. I got this, I have some ideas about something. I have, you know," and I'm happy that I took the long way because then like I said, I could share that testimony of like letting shame beat me down, letting shame win for a good 6 months of my life as it relates to me being a content creator, as it relates to me showing up in the spaces I want to show up in for myself. Like I just wasn't, and I felt like I wasn't what I said I was. I didn't feel like myself. While I was in that shame, the shame gave me feelings that supported me thinking and feeling like I'm not who I am. That's scary. I don't know about anyone else, but to me, that's scary. That you could be so far removed from yourself because you're afraid that if you show up, it's gonna be this bad thing. Isn't that crazy? And we all live with this in all kind of ways in our life. Confidence is something I really had to work on. Yeah, I'm glad I feel confident too. And I still work on it, and there's still areas I don't feel confident in, you know? But it's a journey. Oh, it's a journey. It's a journey. And I think sometimes we want to get to that end destination where we're like confident. And I've gotten there. Oh, I'm confident I could do this. I'm confident I could do that. But then, like how they say, new level, new devil, then there's this other thing I'm not confident in. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. I'm great at that. But that, oh, shit. It's like, oh, ah. You know what I mean? Like, you just, the word is trepidation. You're just like, no, I cannot. But you can, if you will. That's how I look at it. You can if you will. Personally, to me, segue again. Like this whole free will conversation, we're gonna have that conversation too. Cause I don't think it's that much free will. Like if you believe in a higher source and you believe this higher source made you from its own higher source, I mean you're the higher source as well. It's in you, it's part of you. You know, you're a part of it. And so you having this idea that goes against that, like I could go against that. How can you go against what you are? That's how could you do that? How is that possible? So I like to think that when I have desires, when I have needs, when I have wants, that's my will. That's the will of the creative spark that sparked me saying this is how I made you. And so it's up to me to follow that umption, to follow that feeling, to follow that desire and see what happens. I love taking personal life adventures. It doesn't always end up the way we think it's going to end up, but I like where it ends up most of the time. And when I don't, it do be some lessons. It be some fire lessons that help me help somebody else and help myself. And some of those lessons we go through it time and time again. Also a part of the journey. You can't lose it. Yeah. How do you I've been everything. I've been everything and I am everything is how I like to put it. Literally. So with that being said, all of it is it's all in me. Out of the one comes the many, if you will. So if out of the one comes the many, I'm part of the one. So I'm not. We learned that too when you talk about quantum physics, how they say energy cannot be destroyed, or taken from. It can only just keep expanding upon itself and moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. So this idea that I could go against what I am, I think that's where we have depression. That's where we have anxiety. That's where we have all these things that we're trying to control. We're trying to stuff down. We're trying to depress ourselves when really we need to let ourselves go. Let ourselves be. And maybe if we could try that without the judgment, coming from someone who was very judgmental at one time. But what I learned with judgment, it's like going to court. It's judgment. It's a final decision. So if I meet someone and they have let's say they have bad breath. I meet someone, they have bad breath the first time I meet them. And I just judge them as someone who's dirty. Someone who's like, oh, you don't have any self-care. Now, I go hang out with some friends, and it turns out they're mutual friends with this person. And I'm feeling a little bit besides myself to the point where I can't even talk to them because I'm like, I don't want to smell their breath again. I don't want any of their beat. But they don't even have it. They don't even have it. But because I made that final decision, that judgment that they're dirty, they're nasty, they're unclean, in their presence, I can't even be present enough to make to appeal that judgment. That's why judgment is so dangerous if you don't understand its nature. Sometimes you have to make a final choice. That's warranted at times. But most of the time we're judging things that we'll never be able to come back from, and that's sad because you never that person could be that person could have what I am looking for in my business, or that person could have a value, a skill set, something. You know what? That person is just that person, and just like me, they're made with that all spark. So they deserve the same respect. Their sovereignty is just as valid as mine. And my judgment don't mean shit. You know that saying, what other people think of me is none of my business? Me thinking they're stinky, and that's none of their business. It doesn't even matter to them. But I'm so caught up in this judgment that I can't have a different experience because I've made the judgment. It's final. The gavel was down. And when I understood that nature of judgment, it helped me to not be so judgmental. It helped me to refrain from making a judgment, an absolute decision on a person that I don't even know. It's people I do know, and the way we change and the way we evolve and grow, can't judge these people either. So I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. I really appreciate you sitting with me and talking with me. I can't see your name all the way, but I really appreciate it. I'm like, ooh. So I'm going to save this and share it. Yeah, your name is 4, 5. It's a whole bunch of numbers, girl. Or sir. You seem really open, so I said girl, but you could be just a very in touch, in tune man, Hey. So I'm going to say adieu, and I really look forward to unpacking this more. We have 149 more days to talk about shame, the nature of it, what it is, when do we maybe need a little bit, maybe if we don't need none at all. Like I want to delve into this, and I want to show up, and I want to continue to show up for the people that show up for me, like you who showed up here at this live. I really appreciate it. So, you guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. This is day 2 of hashtag shame free challenge, where we're going to take the next. Awesome. I appreciate that. Please feel free to share it if you feel so inclined. If you know someone may be dealing with some shame, or someone you think might be interested in my content, and follow me on other social medias. Find me Oya Gold. And yeah, you guys, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing how many people can be freed, liberated from shame. Let me know in the comments how this affected you, this live, this stream. Again, you guys have a good evening. Mwah. This was just a slice of life story time with Oya Gold of Gold Energy Management. Love you much. Talk to you later.